You can see from my work, I like big stuff. Like I like to do big stuff. And it was mostly portraits of like iconic people and headshots, essentially. So I was painting big heads, and my wife used to make fun of me about how I thought I was better than I was. And so BigHead Studios was appropriate on 2 levels.
And she said, "Are we gonna be alright, baby?"
I don't get a lot of time to just paint things that pop in my head, but when I am inspired, I try to, like I said, be clever and do some things that people go, I see what you did there. Yeah, that was a good one.
Got a little baby on the way.
I live in my grandparents' home now, and as a kid, my grandparents were like, my dad's parents were like, they kept everything, and always encouraged me. That grandma would give me tongue depressors and wood glue and aluminum foil, and probably just to get me out of the way. And Granddad kept a wood pile for me that was stuff that I could cut and hammer and do those kinds of things. And then when they both passed away, I was able to move into the house, and it was kind of like I don't know, like this cosmic pool without being too metaphysical. It was, it's kind of like, what would they want me to be doing in this space? I had a good friend named Josh Hampton. He works at a place in Bowling Green called Yellowberry Studios. They're a creative industry, and he's like, man, you gotta paint, and you gotta start selling it, and you gotta quit giving it away. He said, I think you could really, I think people who are good at things don't put a lot of value in what they can do because it probably comes easy for them. And he's like, people will pay for this. A lot of my customers are local people and hometown people who can't spend a ton of money, but are willing to pay money for something that works for them. So I try to bring as much of my creativity into it, but also look at it from a standpoint of it has to be something that someone would want to hang up in their house. So, and I probably do 90% of my work as commission. So I'm trying to take what people want and give it back to them with my touch, but it be what they want. I like using Kentucky figures. I like, obviously, Hunter S. Thompson, very provocative Kentucky writer, extravagant and awesome and interesting. And this piece is one where originally he's sitting on a motorcycle in the photograph, and it's a pretty iconic photograph of him with his big old pistol. But he also wrote "Where the Buffalo Roam," so I stuck him on top of a buffalo instead of on the motorcycle. Well, it's kind of like a 20-foot paint job on a car. So, some people, they have this awesome, they pay $20,000 for this paint job on their car, and it's multiple layers of clear coat, and it's pristine. You can't see any mistakes. But around here, when you paint your car, and your buddy does it, and it's a 20-foot paint job, it looks really good from 20 feet. I like being able to have something from across the room be like pop, and it's kind of like the light and the dark contrast, and be able to get in the proportion right. But when you get up close, it's really kind of a mess. I always tell people, if you want to photograph, like spend the money you're going to pay for me and go buy a really nice camera and take a really nice photograph. There's nothing really special about it except I try to be clever. A lot of times I'll use iconic people, but try to use them on like reclaim things, or try to do it in a way that's kind of fresh and interesting. I don't want to say that it's like intellectual, but I try to be smart and clever about my subject matter. Kind of put a little twist on it. And then I'm kind of in a style right now where I'm doing very like defined lines and boundaries on stuff. I don't know. It kind of, it's neat to go back and look at things and where I paint a lot, where you can see a progression in style, and not really sure what's going on, but I'm in this spot right now where I like real bold stuff.
I've been putting lots of miles
if I lived in New York City, I would probably paint totally different things. But I'm super proud to be from Kentucky. I think it's the most beautiful place in the world. I think it's the best place in the world for an artist. You know, we have every season. You know, we have all these exciting things. We've got things here that you can't have anywhere else, like bourbon, like the Derby. You know, awesome places like the Gorge and all the lakes. And you know, as we travel, you know, I see other states, and I find similarities, but I'm like, not quite as good as Kentucky Lake, or not quite as good as Red River Gorge, or, you know, that doesn't taste as good as the food that I get in Louisville. You know, so just very proud, and I think we have a lot to be proud of. And we kind of get a bad rap, you know, from other states. But that's okay, because as long as they think it's not cool to live here, then they won't move here and they won't ruin it for us. So we'll just keep it our little secret.